So, hi everyone. My name is Michelle Jamaica, and my hometown is Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm currently majoring in human development and family studies, and I speak English and Spanish. And my travel experience is that I've been to Peru multiple times. That's where my family's from. And so I normally spend my summers there. Okay, so first, just some general information about Peru. As we saw on the map, it is in South America, and the language that they speak there is Spanish. And I have a little picture of the flag. So its main colors are red and white. So it's kind of similar to ours. And then they have a representative democratic republic government, which just means that it's also similar to ours, where they have like a president that rules the nation. So, what kind of ecosystems does Peru have? So, as we said before, ecosystems are different types of areas in the world. So, Peru has many different types of ecosystem. They have the Amazon rainforest. Has anyone ever heard of the Amazon rainforest before? It's pretty big and it spans across many different countries in South America. I think it's also in that's great. It's really I'm glad that they know what it is because it's also in Panama, I think Cuba. I don't know. It's pretty cool. And we'll be looking at a bunch of animals that live there too. And then they also have the Andean cloud forest, which is also another rainforest. And then they also have tropical deciduous forest, which has like a lot more trees. And then they have paramo grasslands. And then they have a lot of marine, coastal, and wetlands. So I'm going to be focusing on the wildlife and animals. So I think someone said that their favorite animal was jaguars before. So we're going to be learning a little bit about jaguars in Peru. So they're found in the Amazon rainforest. And just some fun facts is that they love water and swimming. So you'll probably see them like swimming along the river. And then they live about 11 to 12 years in the wild. I think that their max life expectancy is 20 years, but on average, just living in the rainforest is normally around 11. And another fun fact is that they're actually born blind. So as they grow older, they like develop their vision. And it takes about 2 years for them to like grow independent from their mom and be able to like leave their cub. And these are just some pictures. And then this is just a video of how like jaguars interact in the world in the rainforest. So so it's normally the mother jaguar that normally like licks their kids. So in a way of like taking care of them and cleaning them. So next, I have some of my favorite animals, which are alpacas and llamas. So there's a lot of misconceptions between the two. It's kind of hard to differentiate or like see which one's which. But alpacas are normally bigger and they have like smaller ears. And then llamas are smaller animals and then their ears are like pointed up. So in the pictures, we have alpacas at the top and then llamas are on the bottom. So alpacas, they're native to Peru and they're one of the main sources of income since they have a lot of fiber and wool. That's what they're mainly like used. And that's why we have so many alpacas in Peru because they're a big part of the economy. And they're used to make like scarves and coats and hats and cloths. And then this doesn't harm the alpacas either because they just like shave them like you would for a sheep. So it's pretty cool that they have like so many things. They actually like spin the fiber to make it really thin because when you look at an alpaca, you would think for it to be like really fluffy because alpacas are really fluffy, but they actually make some really cool like scarves and shirts and everything. And then llamas are another native animal. Like I said, they're smaller than alpacas and they live between 15 to 25 years. And I thought a fun fact was that they spit whenever they get like agitated or when they're like bothered. So has anyone ever been like spit at by a llama? I know in my elementary school they had llamas come and like to visit, and then I think one of them spit at someone in my class. And then
I think camels might also spit, don't they?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they don't have as much wool as alpacas, so they're not as beneficial for the economy, but they're still very cute and fun to look at. And this is just another video about alpaca wool and just like how it's made and just some different artifacts.
De la alpaca blanca, la cual se podía teñir a muchos colores. Hoy en día está cambiando este giro a la conservación de la alpaca color, en colores naturales para que se puedan confeccionar prendas. Una vez que tenemos los animalitos que han nacido, se quedan para continuar con este proceso de mejora dentro del fondo, aquí, y también puedan ser replicados en las comunidades que deseen. Sino al sacar animales fuera, también ayudamos a que la gente pueda ser sostenible.
Good. And since that video is in Spanish, I don't know if some of you that are in a bilingual class want to type in the chat what it was about for the people that don't speak Spanish. They probably could see the subtitles, but if you want to tell us some things you learned from the video, you can type it in the chat.
Okay, and now I'm going to talk a little bit about birds because Peru has a lot of birds. So first of all, we have the Inca tern on the left, and it has a population of about 150,000, but it is a declining population. They are going endangered, so it's very important to take care of the species. And then they have a lifespan of about 14 to 20 years. And a little fun fact about this bird is that they have like a little mustache. If you can see in the picture on the left, they have like a white mustache, and the longer the mustache is, that means the healthier the bird is. And then we have hummingbirds. So there's actually about 360 hummingbird species in Peru, and they're the smallest migrating bird, and they're actually the only bird that can fly backwards, which is pretty cool. And they weigh on average less than a nickel. So that's kind of cool to think that a bird weighs less than a nickel because nickels don't weigh too much. And then the last bird we have here is the Andean cockatoo rock, and it lives in the cloud forest and high elevation. So that's one of the ecosystems we were talking about. And then here, females are responsible for practically everything. They build a nest and take care of the younger birds. And they're actually the national bird of Peru. And they're pretty big. They're like 12 inches in length. So the other two birds are pretty small. But then this bird is like a foot. They're probably like this big. And then we have a brown-throated sloth and a giant river otter. So someone else said that their favorite animals were sloths. So this is hopefully interesting. But sloths can actually rotate their heads like owls. They can rotate at 300 degrees. I don't know how far you guys can rotate your head, but mine only goes like this far. But then owls goes like all the way around, and it's pretty cool. And they live about 30 to 40 years, and they sleep about 15 to 18 hours a day. So that's most of the day. And they're very accomplished swimmers. I don't know. Can anyone see if they like can rotate their head more than just to the side? I think some people that are like double jointed, they can like rotate their head more, but I can't. And then we have the giant river otter. So they can be up to 6 feet in length, which is like the size of a human, pretty much. I mean, I'm not 6 feet tall. Hopefully, no elementary schoolers are 6 feet tall either. But a giant river otter would be like this tall. And they live along the Amazon, just like the sloth. They live in like rainforests, and they're currently an endangered species, and they live about 14 years. And then this is just a video of a sloth on a tree.
So yeah, before we go over to Thailand, I don't know if any of you want to say what your favorite animal was from Peru in the chat. Of the ones that we saw that Michelle showed you, you can write that in the chat if you want. And also, I checked just so you guys know, since we're talking about different ecosystems, and the Amazon rainforest goes through 8 countries, and I put it in the Zoom chat. So it goes through Brazil, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana.